Hi everyone, it's Professor Muldrow once again. In this video, I'm going to show you how we use the arrays class in Java to do operations on arrays. And then I'm going to show you three methods that I created that help us figure out properties of an array or replace values in an array. First off, about the arrays class. If you want to use it, it is contained in java.util. Let's try that again. Sorry. It's contained in java.util. So you have to import that to use the arrays class. The most common method in the arrays class we use is this one right here. It's called arrays.toString. And what it does is it takes an array, which is passed to the method as a parameter, and converts it to a string so you can display it. Now, in addition to that, we have this copy of range method. What this method does, the copy of range method, is it takes an array and generates a subarray starting at the first index you're given and going up to, so it starts at the first index and goes up to but not including the second index. So here's array 1. This copy of range method says take array 1 and create a subarray starting at index 2 but going up to but not including index 6. That means it'll go from index 2 to index 5 to create array 2. And as you can see, here is array 2. Which comes from the elements at indexes 2, 3, 4, and 5 of array 1. Those elements right there. We also have a sort method that sorts an array in an ascending order. First, smallest to largest. And here's the result of that sort array. It takes array 1 and sorts it in numeric order from 2 to 9. You also have an equals method. That's able to compare two arrays and returns true if two things are true. 1, the two arrays have the same number of elements. 2, the two arrays have all elements in common. Well, obviously, array 1 and array 2 are not equal because first off, they don't have the same number of elements. So they can't possibly have all elements in common. There are other methods within the arrays class. Please consult the PowerPoint slides for more information on those. Now, I'm going to show you three methods that I've created. The first one is called count. This method count right here. And basically what it does is it looks at each element in an array. Here we're passing an array as a parameter to this method. And we're also passing a target value. And every time I go through this array, when I find an element of the array that's equal to this target element, then I increment my count variable by 1. And when it's all done, I return count. So I am returning the number of times this target element is in my array parameter. Now, as you'll notice, I'm using a for each loop to go through this array. We talked about a for each loop in the previous video. You might want to check that out. This is how you do a for each loop. The second method I've created is called index of. Once again, we're going through the array one element at a time, but now we're looking for the first occurrence of the target value in the array. So according to this if statement, if an element of the array is equal to the target value, at that moment, we will return the index of where that target value is. If we don't find the target value in the array, we're going to return a -1. And finally, there is a replace all method. So once again, we go through the array one element at a time. And if we find an element that is equal to our target value, we're going to replace that target value with a new value. So every time we find the target value in the array, we replace it with a new value. Back here in main, I've created another array called array 3 with these elements right here. Here in my output, first I use the toString method to display array 3. And then here I'm calling the count method. I want to see how many times the number 26 appears in array 3. Well, according to this, it appears 3 times. Then I call the index of method to see where the number 55 is in the array. Well, here's the number 55. In array 3. And this tells me that it first appears at index 9 in my array. And last, I'm calling the replace all method. And I'm going to replace the number 26 with the number 99. You'll recall the count method told us that 26 appears 3 times in this array. So the first time we did it, here's a 26. Here's a 26. And here is a 26. And you'll notice in this output line where it says after replace all, in all 3 places where there was a 26, there is now a 99. If you have any questions, please send me an email at kmuldrow@lbcc.edu.